It was fair to say that the Haas car in 2021 was one of the worst we've ever seen. However, they would not develop the car at all. This is because they were putting all their focus on the 2022 car, and they hoped that this would allow them to progress up the field and fight for points once again. A lot of expectations were being put on Haas. Would they live up to the expectations? Well, they certainly would, qualifying ahead of the Mercedes and in the race would score a P5, with the returning Kevin Magnussen. What a result considering they did not score a single point in 2021. Mick Schumacher would finish P11, where he probably would have been in the points had it not been for Esteban Ocon spinning him around. In Saudi Arabia, it would be a bad weekend for Mick Schumacher, as in qualifying he would cause a lengthy red flag and damage his car beyond repair, so he could not start the race the following day. Magnussen, however, had a great weekend and scored the team another valuable 2 points as they looked seriously competitive. Australia was quite a strange weekend, as the team just had no pace around the track, where traditionally they used to go well. Mick would finish in P13 with Kevin just behind him. Haas was stretching their heads after this one. Off to Imola, and Haas would be back to scoring more points, and of course they came from Magnussen, who managed to take home a solid P9 once again. Schumacher would not be anywhere near him and finish P17, a weekend to forget for Mick again. On the new track in Miami, where Haas would not score any points, as both of the drivers would have accidents, which meant that their race was run. Magnussen would have to retire 1 lap before the final lap, and Schumacher would have a silly crash with Vettel, which meant he would finish in P15. Spain was another pointless race, with Magnussen having to pit on lap 1 due to being given a black and orange flag. Schumacher just did not have the pace and finished in P14. Monaco was an awful race with both drivers having to DNF. Magnussen with an issue with his car, and for the second time this season, Mick would snap the car in half, costing the team a lot of money again. For the 4th race in a row, the team would not get any points, and Magnussen would have an engine issue with the Ferrari power unit, meaning he had to DNF. Mick again would not be in the points, and the car seemed to not have the pace it did at the start, finishing P14. Canada was a good choice for Mick to get the first points of his career. However, the Ferrari power unit would once again fail him, meaning he would DNF. Heartbreak for Mick. Kevin would come last of the runners in P17. The British Grand Prix would be great for the team, as they would have both drivers in the points, and Mick's first ever points, and hopefully from here he can kick on. Mick would come in at P8, and as he fought with Verstappen to the line, showing very good racecraft. Kevin would take home a single point in P10. Hopefully this was the start of a good run. Austria was a sprint race weekend, where Mick was angry at Kevin due to him believing he had the pace, but would not let him pass, and was determined to show Haas his pace in the race. In the race, Mick would prove to the team that he was quick, as he would come home in an impressive P6, whilst Kevin finished in P8, a great weekend for the team and good momentum. France, however, would be another poor weekend with no points scored, whereas once again Kevin would score no points due to having to DNF. Mick would finish the race but come home in P15, not a good way to end the first half of the season. Just before the summer break in Hungary, it was once again a race where no points had been scored, mainly because of the lack of developments that the team had done to the car. Mick would beat Kevin when he finished P14 with Kevin in P16. After the summer break in Belgium, it was not any better with them not scoring any points again. At this point, we've lost count. Kevin was ahead of Mick in P16, with Mick behind him for what was an awful race, and showing how bad their pace was. The following week in the Netherlands was again no improvement at all for Haas, as they were once again one of the slowest midfield cars. Mick crossed the line in P13 and beat Kevin, who was in P15, even though Kevin scored more points. Mick was beating Kevin in most of the races. Monza would be the 5th race in a row in which the team would not score any points at all, whilst everyone else around them was improving. Mick would finish in P12, whilst Kevin would once again be behind him, and would finish P16 in the last of the runners. Guess what would happen in Singapore? Of course, no points would be scored, but this time Kevin would finish ahead of Mick in P12. What on earth was going on with Haas? They could possibly only finish P9 in the standings, due to how bad the season had developed. Japan would be the exact same story, and again no points were scored, as it was very clear they did not have the budget to pay for developments, and were focusing on the 2023 car. Magnussen would finish in P14 and Mick in P17. Finally, for the first time since Austria, the team would score their first points. This time Magnussen with P9 at the Circuit of the Americas. Mick would have a poor race with a lot of questions about his future, finishing in P15. Mexico was once again a shocking race, with them looking to just secure P8 in the standings, with both drivers finishing in P16 and P17, with Mick ahead of Kevin. Magic would happen in Brazil when Magnussen would take pole position, as the team would put him on track at the perfect time, and the team in his first ever pole. However, in the sprint he would only get 1 point and finish in P8, but still a good weekend for the team, and what a moment. The race would not be good for the team, however, with Kevin being taken out by Ricciardo on lap 1, and Mick would finish in P13, and after this race weekend, he would be replaced by Hülkenberg for 2023. Abu Dhabi would not be the race that they hoped to end the season, as they were the last of the runners in both P16 and P17. However, this would secure a P8 finish the constructors' standings with 37 points, with AlphaTauri in P9 with 35 points. Overall, this season was a huge step forward from 2021, as they went from P10 to P8 in the standings. But it's fair to say that the drop-off from the start of the season until the end was massive, and something the team need to improve on in 2023, as they have to develop the car more. They go into 2023 with a new driver lineup and a new title sponsor. Will this allow Haas to improve next season? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and make sure to like the video and subscribe to watch videos just like this one.